You are about to witness history in the making.
Hi guys, welcome to another Pop Culture Gamers podcast. I'm Steve, your host for this evening, and as usual, my partner in crime is Haydn. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, Steve, thanks. How about yourself?
Yes, it's busy. I shouldn't be here doing this, to be honest with you, today, because it's our wedding anniversary. So this will be probably a bit of a shorter show. I'm sure you would agree that this time the missus has to come first today. But
even though she's coming second right now.
Exactly, yeah. You haven't got much to talk about really this week, have you?
No, I've had a quiet week. Nothing's really happened, so I've not got much to say.
Okay, so I'll have a little say. So as we know, last weekend was a bit of a mishmash for us. So we had an 80th birthday party going on for my wife's mum. So that went pretty well. Everyone turned up. It was a surprise. She came in. It was great. She weren't aware of it, and all the family turned up. So all went well with that. Even though later, about 1 a.m, I was blowing helium out, or sucking in helium, should I say.
Did you see there was something on the news the other day? Evidently, it's really bad for you to actually do it. And yeah, I can't remember, it was on the news or something, but there was some woman who inhaled it, and she ended up getting something the matter with her nervous system.
Really? Oh, I had a little bit. I did have a little bit of a squeak, but, you know.
Yeah, well, evidently she started feeling a tingling at the back of her head, after she'd done it. And then a couple of days later, she couldn't walk, and she's not even sure whether or not she's going to be able to walk again. And it is because of helium. So I don't want to put the panics up you, mate, but evidently there's a small amount of people that this can actually happen to.
Well, it was a week ago now, week today, so...
Oh, well, this was like within a couple of days, so hopefully you'll be all right.
Yeah, that all went well. I'm in middle of my holidays at the minute, so my Xbox turned up a few days ago, and UPS delivered it. Inside there was another Project Scorpio, which was class. They had a sticker to return it. So basically, I unboxed it, and it was done in 15 minutes. How quick can you sort that out?
That's really good, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing I had to do was actually do an update, but that didn't take that long because everything was on the hard drives, which was separate. So then I boxed the other one up, put the sticker on it, took it the next day to UPS, and it should be with Microsoft tomorrow. So I was a little bit cautious because you have to charge your credit card.
Yes.
So I did have a text chat with the representative just to double check everything was okay. Yeah. I also gave the woman the the tracker code.
Yeah, the tracking number.
So I gave them that as well. I knew it was on its way because they're going to charge you £400 or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
You sort of don't want that coming off your credit card.
No, definitely not, because that's the type of thing you're going to notice.
Yeah, and actually, just one quick story on that. When I did it originally to do it, she said, "Oh, it's rejected it." I thought, what? I said, no way. And then I had a text immediately come through saying, is this fraud? Which is pretty good, to be honest, for a credit card to do that to you.
Yeah, although the first time that ever happened to me, I thought that the text was fraud. And I phoned up the bank and I said, what's all this? I've got this text. Is this legit? And the bank actually said no.
Yeah.
And then I tried to use the card again, and then I got a phone call. It's like, no, I'm actually trying to use my card. Why have you stopped it? Oh, we're sorry, we thought it was fraud.
Well, what was really good was that when they said the text come through saying, we think this is fraud, would you like to confirm you want this transaction to go through, yes or no? And I ticked yes, and then she went through again. Just that, brilliant. No stressing on phoning a number that you can't get hold of anyone.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. This afternoon, I popped in, I just did a bit of a rummage round my room, took some stuff into CEX, and I got about 100 quid. Now,
which is good going for getting any money out with CEX, because you normally get like a penny a game, don't you?
Oh, God, yeah. There were some people there offloading loads of DVDs. They're probably about 3 pence each or something they're going to get back, which is horrendous. But it's okay. So I've got a couple of vouchers there sitting in my wallet. I've got an idea what I want to do with it, which I'm not going to talk about now, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see within the next week whether I can put it off. If not, I might have to wait another week maybe, but I'm not going to say too much at the minute. But that's that. Forsaken is just round the corner, and not Friday but Tuesday, Haydn.
Yes.
And so my gaming chat is going to be about Destiny. I've been doing some Warmind DLC, and I want to talk about getting ready for the Forsaken as well. Other than that, that's really it for me. So should we swiftly move on to gaming this week?
Yep.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
Would you like to enlighten us? We've got.
Okay, so basically it's about Elite Dangerous. So they've had their latest update, which dropped last week, and it's beyond Chapter 3 because it's been beyond Chapters 1 and 2 already as well. So it doesn't feature the same kind of major changes that you saw in Chapter 1, but what it is doing is it's progressing the ongoing narrative about the aliens, particularly the dealing with the Thargoids, because they've returned to the Elite universe. But now you've got some added help with some ultra advanced technology, which has been dug up from an ancient race called the Guardians, which, if you remember, there was one of the updates to the game previously was the Guardians. So it's basically 3 new ship-launched fighter variants, because obviously you can launch fighters from certain ships, and these are the Trident, the Javelin and the Lance, and they come equipped with plasma-charged shard launcher and projector respectively, and they've also got, fast and light with strong shields as well. So the trade-off is that they have slightly weaker hulls, but they're the new sort of ships that you can get in the game, and you find blueprints and the parts for them, and then you can start ordering them however you want on the game. Complementing this, there is also a launch of the new fighters as a brand new Alliance cruiser, which is a midpoint between the Alliance Chieftain and Challenger ships in the game, and it also has a crew for 2 multi-crew as well. These ships are also joined with a whole host of new weapons that are available as well. So there's lots of new stuff in the game. Also, for those people like myself on the PC who've migrated over to Colonia, which is the second human bubble, 21,000 light years away from, Earth, etc. If you remember, that took me literally a day in travel to get there. Now, what they've actually done is that because the engineers weren't over there, it meant that anyone who's gone over there and stayed over there have kind of been at a bit of a disadvantage in terms of the engineers, so it looks like they're bringing the engineers back over into that area. So that will be, a good plus point. Evidently, beyond Chapter 3 is also introducing new planetary wing missions, as well as the usual sort of array of, life improvements, as they call it, which is basically tweaks to the world, the universe map and, all of that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah.
So, no doubt there'll be stuff that's in there that hasn't actually been recorded, which it's left in there as a nice little surprise for people to find, like for example when the Thargoids first started to show up. So lots of changes to that game, and it's good to know that they're actually now planning what's going to happen moving forward again.
Okay.
So this is a game that is going to constantly start to continue to develop, much like Destiny does. So you'll see all of that changing, in the future as well. So I think, it's a really incredibly well supported game. And, I think it's one of those sort of like little sleeper games that people buy and then go back a long time later and think, wow, this has changed an awful lot,
I know, because I haven't been back for a millennium, it feels like, at the moment. And funnily enough, when I was on the Xbox the other day, I got a Xbox Microsoft Live text message pop up on my box telling me that the new update's available.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were telling me, because surely it'd just do an update anyway. But something else to go back to at some point, if you get the chance.
definitely. I don't know what to go on it first on, to be honest. Probably PC, so I can do it in VR.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant in VR.
Yeah.
I couldn't play it all the time in that, but it certainly makes it different. You know, things that you don't realise is like the scale of, you know, when you see the screen when you're in a space station, just how big that actually is. Well, you just lose all that sense of perspective.
And also I liked about that because obviously I did the VR Oculus for it some time ago. Mm-hmm. And when you're using your hands on the joysticks and whatever you're using, you can see physical hands doing the movements.
Yes.
Which is really bizarre. It's fantastic, I must admit. If a game that would warrant VR, that is it, I think, you know?
Yes, definitely. It's a shame that they haven't brought it to the PlayStation, to be honest, in terms of VR.
Unusual, that. Well, certainly, remember, they are a beast of their own. They don't like to... How do I put it politely? They don't like to embrace other people, do they? They like to keep things to themselves and stay to themselves. I'm
not too sure about what it is. I'm wondering whether or not it might actually be a bit of a hardware issue in terms of it not working on a vanilla PlayStation with a PSVR, but it'd work on the Pro, because PlayStation have always said whatever's on the 4 will be on the Pro as well. And, you know, you're not going to get, pro-specific only games, are you? So maybe that's the reason why.
True,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. It could be a lot of things, but we'll probably never know. Anyway, that released on August the 28th, so it's, you know, only brand new, it's only a few days old, and I'm sure that people like Obsidian Ant will be showing us lots and lots of new stuff that's coming. But hopefully the next round of updates will be, you know, like planets with atmospheres and that sort of thing. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'd like to see stuff like No Man's Sky have done. That sort of, you know, something with a bit of life in it, not just a dead moon from Space 1999, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But, okay. So really, moving forward, and new releases this month. It's the start of
the crazy season.
The big games are going to kick in every month now between now and Christmas, which isn't that far away, which I don't like to think about, to be honest. So,
what is it, 14 weeks?
Oh, yeah, something like that. It's horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so we've moved swiftly onto that then. So, on the 4th of this month, we've got Destiny 2, obviously the Forsaken DLC on Xbox, PC and PlayStation. We have Dragon Quest XL Echoes of the Elusive Age, PlayStation 4. We have Genesis Alpha 1, PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. For the 7th of the 9th, we have Cat Quest on the Switch. Immortal Unchained, PlayStation, Xbox and PC. Also, we've got Slime Rancher, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. And we've got SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy on the Switch. Spider-Man, of course, PlayStation 4. The Long Dark, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. We have V Rally 4, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC.
Valley's a different thing.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. And the last couple is a couple of Nintendo ones. We've got Yo-Kang, Watch Blasters, Red Cat Corpse, and also the White Dog Squad version as well of that. So plenty for people to get their teeth into if they've got the money for them all.
Indeed.
But the games won't go away. They'll still be there next month. They'll still be there the month after. So
yes. That's very true. However, I must admit, 2 of those I've already got pre-ordered.
That's going to be Spider-Man and the Destiny, isn't it?
It is indeed. It is indeed.
And I have one, and you know which one that is.
Yeah, but why you went for Yoki Watch, I don't know.
I know. You know, I really need to get into Nintendo, don't I?
Yes. And by the way, you got into a lot of trouble last week with your comments.
I didn't hear anything about it. What, me?
No, you didn't. I had several people get in contact with me and say, thank you for standing up for the Switch.
Like
I said, please stop chasing off our Switch listeners.
It's all in jest. Anyway, would you like to hear the chart?
Yes. Okay, so the charts this week. So at number 5, down from 4, we've got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. At number 4, down from 2, we've got Grand Theft Auto 5. At number 3, down from number 1, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. At number 2, Shenmue 1 and 2. And at number 1, it's that time of year again, FIFA 18. No. Sorry, F1 8. I'm going to have to put my glasses on. I can't see the screen.
FIFA's next month.
F1 2018.
From Codemasters, which is a cracking game. Okay, do you know, will I take a drink? Do you want to do the PlayStation now?
Yeah. Okay.
Is that right what we got written there? Because that looks wrong to me.
No, that's right what we've got written there. So
that's for the Xbox, isn't it? Sorry, I do apologise.
Yeah. So Games with Gold this week, or this month rather, we've got Prison Architect, available from the 1st to the 30th on Xbox, and Livelock, available from the 16th to the 15th of October. We've also got 1st to the 15th, Lego Star Wars 3 The Clone Wars, and that's on the 360, and Sega Vintage Collection Monster World, available from the 16th to the 30th.
Well, a couple of those are worth getting, I think.
Well, yeah. Well, Lego Star Wars The Clone Wars was the one that I never completed, but I wish I had. Because I got to one level, and no matter what I did, I was doing everything that it was saying on YouTube to do, because I ended up YouTubing it because I couldn't get past it. And I was doing everything, and I think that there was actually a bug in it that was preventing me from doing it. I was clearly doing something slightly wrong. That then meant it would not allow me to get any further past it. So I ended up having to give up on it. So it'll be interesting to see if I can get past that bit now.
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus wise, so Plus is really good this month. I was quite surprised.
I think it's a marketing ploy, don't you think?
Well, most likely. But we have Destiny 2, the vanilla version, but there's still lots of content in there for you to go at. We've got God of War 3 Remastered. There's also Another World 20th Anniversary Edition, which is cross-buy PS3 and Vita as well. We've got Cube Director's Cut, cross-buy with PS3. Sparkle 2, which is cross-buy with PS3 and Vita. And Foul Play, which is cross-buy with the Vita as well. So lots to offer from there. But obviously Destiny 2, God of War, they're two huge games.
Now, obviously, Sony have the rights for Destiny 2, hence why I think they decided to talk to Sony to put it on there, but also with Forsaken round the corner, because you can actually get Forsaken with the past DLC as well in one edition.
Yes.
So if you wanted to carry on from the vanilla, there's a nice little bundle for that too.
Would they not have to also have purchased the DLC before as well, though? I think you have to have all of the DLC for Forsaken to do it, which is why you've got the Legendary Edition, isn't it?
I don't really know, to be honest. I mean, the past, there were 2 packs of DLC before, which is in the bundle as well. So there's
right. So you do have to have it then.
I'm assuming so, yeah. But there is a bundle where you can buy Forsaken and the Warmind and the Osiris DLC, so you can actually catch up with that. Yeah. And also, with Forsaken, you will get an engram to bump your character straight up to match, so you can dive straight in if you want to. Yeah. Which I think is always a good idea. I'm going to probably just quickly talk about this now, but I think I'll probably use it on one of my other characters.
That's what I was thinking of doing, because I never enjoy playing a Titan, but just so that I've got one that's a decent spec to save myself having to go through all of that pain barrier.
Because I've only got my other 2 characters are both at 100, so they've literally just been opened out the box. So I think I might do a hunter for that. Probably, I think that's more I'll go. But yeah, that's a great idea.
Those are the best characters.
So they say, but I disagree. So yeah, it's a good idea. Again, they did this last time, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's cheap just to get to the level. But some people want to just jump straight into that content, so why not? You know, you can still go back and play the content, but you'll be at the level there to use guns that you've got with your characters that's stacked in your vault at the moment.
I mean, let's face it, you don't buy the game to complete the campaign 3 times with 3 different classes. You do it for the high-end game stuff.
Exactly. So we'll chat a bit more about that later. Anything else there? I mean, God of War 3, I will definitely download that. And probably Another World 20th Anniversary Edition. Those are the 3 for me. The other ones are probably sort of, little games that probably wouldn't interest me, to be honest.
I think Cube's all right.
Have you played that before?
I'm trying to remember what it was exactly. If I remember rightly, I think it's, forgotten what you call it, Portal sort of style game.
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, okay.
But, sort of like, puzzle 3D sort of thing, but I don't mean shooting a gun and that. Yeah, it's a physics-based puzzle game.
Right. Okay. Okay, shall we? We'll go straight into gaming this week then. I'll take a back seat. You can start because I'll chat about Destiny afterwards because you've played a bit of that as well and probably got a bit of a gripe. We have a bit of a gripe with that at the moment, unless you've solved it. But we'll talk about that later. So
no, I haven't solved it.
Okay, so do you want to start? Because I'm interested about Strange Brigade. That perked my interest back at E3.
Yes,
some time ago.
Yeah, and to be honest, it perked my interest when I was at Insomnia as well because it was there. So. Basically, the story of Strange Brigade is 4,000 years ago, Sahara Africa was ruled by Queen Setiki, who was brutal and barbaric, and she was overthrown and sealed into a tomb. Her tomb was discovered in 1930 by an archaeologist, Edgar Harbin, and that released the Queen's spirit, and the Strange Brigade, which is a group of Secret Service agents by British colonial government, has infiltrated Harbin's expedition in an effort to eliminate Setiki. So that's the story. And basically what it is, it's a cooperative third-person shooter from Rebellion Development. You play one of 4 characters, all themed around sort of like 1930s characters. The designs... It's a bit like the cross between the shooting parts of Tomb Raider or Uncharted without all of the climbing. And you can see the inspiration from games like Left 4 Dead and also Zombie Army Trilogy. So, it borrows heavily from them. And I think it's a bit Rebellion who also did Zombie Army Trilogy as well, if you remember. The game, it's not one that really takes itself seriously. It's very much tongue-in-cheek, isn't it? Oh, very much so. I mean, it breaks the third wall in terms of the content. You know what I mean by that? So it directly references to you. But, yeah, it just doesn't take itself seriously. Every level has a newsreel style type of intro, like from the 1930s when they used to do newsreels. And there's a narrator in the game who's got a tremendously British accent.
Oh, yeah.
And here it is, the Strange Brigade sort of thing, And it's all of that sort of like announcements. But he does make a lot of amusing remarks throughout the game. And he also gives you the odd hint here as well. So for example, there's one bit where you're moving around these crystals with lasers going and says, wouldn't it be quite good if you could point that into so-and-so's eye? And yeah, that's what you have to do. You have to point the laser into this eye to open up this other door and blah, blah, blah. So, like I said, every level's this newsreel sort of thing to start off with. So it's a black and white, it gives you a little bit of story, and then you parachute down to whatever sort of area it is, and then it's all exploration and puzzle solving from there. And the narrator narrates right throughout as well. So it's not only when it's the newsreel, it's just when you're playing the game quite normally as well. So it's like, watch out, Strange Brigade, there's a bunch of, mutant mummies coming at you and all of that sort of stuff. So I've actually found it quite refreshing because it isn't serious.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard 1 or 2 people saying that the controls are absolutely useless. I don't think that they are, but you've got to take into account the type of weapons that you're actually using. So if you're using a submachine gun, then that's going to spray bullets in every general direction, apart from probably where the site of the target is. Do you know what I mean? A bit like, because I think a lot of people have got spoilt on things like Destiny and whatever, where there is that sort of assisted tracking to a certain degree, which can work in your favour and can also sometimes stop you getting the shot that you want to. This doesn't have any of that. So if you don't hit it, you don't hit it. It's down to your skill, not down to anything else. But also, if you just hold the trigger down on the machine gun, then the recoil of it is just going to spray bullets in every direction. So all that you do is just do, short bursts just to keep it to shooting, basically. Just, a bit like you would do a pulse rifle on Destiny. Just do sort of thing rather than just continuous.
Yeah.
And then you get a lot better sort of reaction out of it. The zombies move all over the place as well. They're zigzagging and all sorts. So that makes it a lot more complicated. And then you get much faster moving enemies as well, some of which will throw bombs at you from a distance, some of which will do flamethrowers, some of which will have massive swords, some will have armour on them. You know, there's a whole host and a variety of really, really different bad guys to go at you. There are Minotaurs as well, who are Satiki's champions. You'll hear Satiki say, you know, now my champion shall come, and then all of a sudden this Minotaur starts coming running at you, and you have to duck out of the way in the last second, otherwise it'll hit you and deplete your energy quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, and they are absolute bullet sponges when you're doing it as well. They'll take a lot of beating, to be quite honest. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, do the enemies, when you're shooting them, do we have, like, does it show how much you're killing them? Is there like a number on there, sort of like, you know,
there's a health
style
bar. There's a health bar. So every time you shoot one, the health bar goes down when you hit them, and then obviously what they'll do is they'll just explode, not in a massive explosion, just like into a puff of smoke.
Yeah.
And then they'll leave like this blue light hovering where they died, and you wear an amulet and you collect their souls, and then when you've filled up or charged your amulet, you can then use the amulet's power to defeat a load of enemies all at once.
So Destiny style, their bollocks of it in a way.
in a way, yeah. But you only have, well, there are four different amulets you can wear. I've got 3 of them.
Yeah.
And that works really well. And if you get a lot of them all at once, then you can actually recharge your amulet straight away and do it again.
Okay.
Because when you get a horde, you get a horde. I mean, you're there for ages actually mopping them all up. And there's a lot of, you know, jumping about, ducking and diving to get out of the way of them because, for example, the proper mummies, their bandages will go under the ground and then start charging at you and then come up underneath you to attack you. So you've got to, you know, attack them and jump out of the way before that comes towards you. But then, like I said, you might have 8 or 9 different types of bad guys, all of which have to be dealt with slightly differently. Yeah. You know, your basic undead, you can just shoot a couple of times and they'll go down. But then when you get to, like, the samurai sword wielding characters who are all dressed in armour, you're just ploughing bullets in there. Now, fortunately, across all of the landscape, there are suitcases which you can open up, or chests, which cost you money because every time you kill, you know, a creature, then you get a certain amount of money. There's also money stacked around the place, and also there's boxes that you can open up which have treasure in, which earns you money. Now, if you open up one of these boxes that costs you money, then there's a heavy weapon in there, and that has a limited time use to however much bullets are in there. You can't add more bullets, but once they're gone, and if you die after you pick one up, it's gone. So I'll come on to dying in a minute because dying's not the end, as it were.
Okay.
But once you actually get one of these heavy weapons, imagine it, you know, you're playing Destiny, but your rocket launcher was like a machine gun. It's like that, you know, it'll take down a Minotaur in about 4 or 5 seconds, which would probably take you about 30 or 40 seconds ploughing bullets into it otherwise. So it's a big, big difference. There's also backpacks and things like that scattered around the area, which you can get more ammunition from. But also the other thing that there is there are environmental objects which you can use to your advantage. So everywhere's got barrels all over the place. You shoot a barrel, it'll explode and it'll kill a load of enemies. You've got different types of grenades and things like that. You can throw them into the crowd. There is quite a long timer on them, but what I've found the best thing to do is try and get all of the zombies in the middle, then just run round the outside of them and chuck a grenade in the middle, and you take out a whole load all at once. So that works really well. And then the other thing is that there are traps that you can spring as well. So some traps will have spikes come up off the ground. Other traps will have rotating blades that will chop the undead up. So there's lots of different ways that you can deal with the massive hordes that are coming in, which makes it a lot more fun. And there's also things like, for example, you know, like little light fires. You know, I can't really describe what, you know, the fires that are there, but to be light, you know, in like little baskets up on the ceiling, like ceiling lights. And if you shoot them, they spill fire down below, and then they'll set fire to enemies. And if you're in a cave, you can shoot stalagmites down, which will then come and squish them. So there's lots of ways to kill the different enemies, and some of them need a better approach. Like, for example, when you're going into the bosses or the mini bosses, some of them are really quite hard. I mean, I've nearly finished this game now, to be honest, because I've been absolutely hammering it. And I've got sort of like a walking sort of sphinx sort of figure with a great big staff, and he keeps shooting these orbs at me, and it's been taking me out every time, because I know you can shoot them, but I just can't shoot them all because they're coming at me so fast, and it always gets me on a reload. But what happens is, when you die, if you have a potion, and there are potions all over the place, then what can happen is you can get resurrected and come out of a sarcophagus, rather than that's the end of the level, which, you know, is a lot of, in terms of a lot of games. Or alternatively, you can just try, you know, using the potion and running without one, but if you die, then you'll have to restart at the last checkpoint.
Are they too far back or not? How do they, you know, are they...
They're generally to about the last, either the last time you went into a new section, or the last wave that you've done. But what's a bit of a pain in the backside is any collectibles up until you've gone through that checkpoint, they're not saved, so you've got to go back and do them
that's
again.
A bit of a grind, isn't it?
That is a bit of a pain, but I had to do that a couple of times when I was first starting. Most
games allow you to pick up a collectible, and if you die, they're saved in the ether as such, you know? How about when you collect stuff? Do you collect ammo? Can you run over the ammo, or do you have to hit X to pick it up?
No, you have to hold the square button to pick it up, or X.
Just always wonder about that one.
So, some of the enemies do drop ammo as well. If an enemy drops ammo, you can run over and pick it up. If it's a backpack, you have to hold the square button or the X to pick it up. So it depends upon how the ammo's got there in the first place, to be honest. But those are your basic options. So there is a story mode. There is also a horde mode, which...
That could be fun.
Yeah, it is. You start off in a very small area, and as you progress, it gets larger and larger.
Is that multiplayer or just single?
It is multiplayer, yeah. It's all 4-player. So if you want to, you can play it solo, or you can play it multiplayer.
Yeah, cool.
I got up to round 1, wave 8, and then I died, and I thought, you can restart from that point, but I thought, I'm not going back at the moment. No. I just wanted to try it out as a mode. And then there's also a score attack mode, but I've not played that one yet. And there is a season pass that you can buy that'll give you extra episodes, etc.
That's more story content, is it? Okay.
Yes, I believe so. So I must admit, this is one of those games that it'd not been on my radar at all. And then I just saw it, and I just thought, I really quite fancy that. The humour appeals to me, you know, that British stiff upper lip chap sort of stuff.
It's not ain't enough hot mum, but it's probably damn close.
Oh no, it's much more stiff and starchy than that, to be honest. Even right down to the main character running, he runs absolutely rigidly upright, but that's sort of like the humour. Yeah,
it's not like a glitch in the character. It's just the way he's running, is it?
Yeah, I think he's been, you know, whoever done the motion captured deliberately ran that way to, you know, look like, you know, stiff upper lip boy.
Oh, cool.
You know, so it's everything's really period specific as well, so you're not going to get laser guns and stuff like that. You can buy extra weapons, and also in terms of the weapons as well, some of them have rune slots. So with those, you find runes around the environment. You can put those onto the gun, and then they give your gun better abilities, like, for example, being able to set enemies on fire when you shoot them and that sort of stuff. Collectibles, there are 6 cats per level to shoot. If you do that, then you can open up the cat's temple at the end of the level, and that's got better loot in there. There's also some pottery things, and then there's some relics as well, which are all hidden behind fancy doors, which have got a puzzle assigned to them, and if you solve the puzzle, then you can, open up the relic room.
Is there any monetary systems outside of the game to purchase, or have they kept it pretty cool?
No, it's all pretty cool. There's, obviously, I think that there is, you can buy extra characters or whatever on the PlayStation Store, but it's just that there's nothing there that is actually saying, come and buy this from the store or whatever. No doubt when the season pass starts to kick in, but they're on about free content drops and stuff like that as well.
Might be one actually to pick up, maybe a lean spell now, probably.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I'll probably end up getting this on board.
Yeah, I'd like to give it a go at some point, must admit. It does tickle my fancy, as they say.
And it's not too expensive either. It was $32.99.
That's reasonable, I suppose. Actually, I'd prefer it about $25, but there you go.
Yeah, but it's not that much more of a reach, is it really?
No. So, anything else?
Yes, the VideoKid.
Okay.
Now, this is a $3.99 game, so before you groan, I actually got it for free, thanks to Nicky, because he found a deal on Hot UK Deals, so thanks very much for pointing me in that direction. Basically, this is a really old-school gaming experience. So, in other words, it's rock hard.
Oh.
So, imagine a cross between Crossy Road and Paperboy, and it's basically that. It's basically a bit of an updated version of Paperboy, but you play a character that's dressed like Marty McFly from Back to the Future. So you have a puffer jacket on, do you? Yeah, and you have a skateboard and all of that. And it's your job to deliver videos to houses with red post boxes. And then as you go along, there are people running along the pavement, there are cars coming down the road, there are potholes that you can fall down and you end up going through the sewer.
Yeah, this sounds very cliche-ish on the old style gaming, doesn't it?
It is. Like I said, it is a very old style sort of game, but this game is rock.
So, how long was it before you put the controller down and walked away?
I played it for probably about an hour, to be honest. Quite enjoyed it. It's one of those games that you either love, you're either loving it or you're going to throw your controller through the window. So is this
a Cuphead game?
No, it's different to
As
Cuphead.
In, what I mean is how rock it is and, frustrations.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, probably makes Cuphead look a little bit easy.
Okay, yeah, right. I'd take your word for that.
In parts. So, yeah, because it is surprisingly fast-moving when you're actually playing it, and it can get quite complicated, but you've got the ability to jump over, like, cars that are coming, because when you get to a crossroad, sometimes there are cars there, and you've got to hop onto one car and then the next, which is a bit tricky. There's all sorts in the game. You can also buy new outfits for the characters and different things as well, just by the in-game currency that you generate as well. When you throw in videotapes, you get bonuses for hitting people, breaking windows, all of that sort of stuff. So it is very much Paperboy-ish, but with the Crossy Road sort of, high-bit kind of graphics.
Okay.
In terms of style. So that's that one. That's just been released as well. And the last one, I haven't played this for ages and ages, probably about 45 minutes, maybe a bit less, is Aaero. And it's got nothing to do with the chocolate. Basically, it's a rhythm action game with a bit of a difference. Yeah. So on this one, you're flying a spaceship and your view is third person behind the spaceship. And when you're going along, there will be beams of light around you. And what you have to do is track the beam of light with your spaceship. And then that adds to the track that's already playing in the background. So that's what you do with your left thumbstick, yeah? So you can move in a circle on the screen in any direction in that circle looking from behind. And then the beam will loop over, loop 180 degrees and then maybe loop back or go up and down and whatever. And the pitch of the notes changes as well as that, all of that changes. As well as that, when you get to certain areas in the game, there is aliens that come and then they fire missiles at you. So with your right thumb, you can aim at any item on screen and then you pull the right trigger to fire. And then it'll fire all consecutively at once. So, for example, each alien will fire about 8 missiles at you. You can select all of those missiles, fire, then select the alien with your right thumb, and then hold down the trigger. That will then fire all of your missiles at the alien and blow him up as well. It doesn't sound that good when you talk about it like that, but when you're actually playing it, it's really actually good fun.
Yeah, cool.
Graphically, it's sort of shell shaded, but it still looks really quite effective. There is also advanced and master modes on this, and there are 15 levels to the game, so 15 different music tracks. But there are about, I think, every 5 levels, a boss battle as well. So, on that one, you've got to shoot this great big alien that, comes at you. But really, for what it is, because I think it's $4.80 on the store now, on this week's deals, it's, if you like your rhythm action sort of games, it's quite a nice one to have a go at.
Okay, cool.
And that's out on PS4, Xbox One and PC as well, so it's all formats. Well, not Switch, but I'm sure that we'll probably see it at the Switch at some point or another.
Interesting. So, anything else you want to talk about?
No, because I know you're itching to get to Destiny talk. I think we're going to have a section for the next few months. This is the Destiny talk. And mark it in the notes so that people know who aren't interested to skip it.
I do apologise, but, sometimes we have these loves that are there. Anyhow, so a bit of an update for me. I've been going back through some exotic quests. These all come back to the Warmind DLC, and I've tidied all 3 of them up. I'm just scrolling back up because I was writing something else in there. So there's 3 exotic loot quests you can do. The data nodes, where there's 45 of those, they give you an exotic sword which is called the Worldline Zero and a Sparrow. We have the exotic sleeper stimulant quest, which I've completed as well, which we'll talk about in a minute. Also, I've completed the exotic Polaris Lance quest, including getting a catalyst. You get 2 legendary versions as well of that. One's including a masterwork version. And on the background, I'm slowly tidying up the sleeper nodes, where I needed 15 in one of the quests I was dealing with. And I'm up to 28 out of 40 of those. I really want to get that done, but it's not easy. As you know, you've got to do little bits and pieces around Mars. You'll pick up some items which you can convert into a node, which will then tell you roughly where you've got to go to find this node, which will give you like a signal.
It's an encryption key, isn't it?
And the thing is, every time you do one, you can get repeats. So the trick is, from what I found out on that, is that you need to run around Mars. Say you go into the server area at the top of the map and then pop one there and hopefully then get something from somewhere else. Because I've had about, I think one of the nodes I've done, I think I've had about 3 or 4 of those pop up, which is quite annoying, but it's not too bad. I mean, I think I can tell now which ones I've done, because when I look on YouTube, if I've got a red line halfway through it, I know I found it. So, but I've still got another 22 to do on that. Not sure what you get for doing the 40. I haven't really looked at that. I've sort of kept that away. But for now, that goes on in the background.
No, I think I've done about 5 or 10 of them.
So with one of the quests you've got to do, you've got to have that hand cannon to use at the same time. So which you're stuck, aren't you, with the sleeper stimulant quest at the moment?
I am. I'm completely stuck because the quest requires that you do heroic strikes. The problem is that they've changed it for the Forsaken, so there is heroic story missions or strikes. They've got rid of heroic strikes.
Now, have you tried?
So that means I can't complete. So
did you try a heroic story strike, and that didn't give you one?
Yes, didn't give me any recognition.
And also the other one as well, which is the easy one.
Nightfall.
Not the Nightfall. You've got 3 there on that map, isn't there? When you open it up, you've got the storyline, and you've got standard strikes as well, haven't you?
Yes. Doesn't do standard strikes. I've done those with it equipped as well.
That's worth a tweet then, I think, on that one.
I'm sure I won't be the only person who'll be suffering this at the moment.
No, but it is the sleeper stimulant is a fantastic weapon for taking out bosses.
But it's not going to be any good come next week.
Well, some weapons are going to be rolling over. Yeah. So just wait and see on that. Regarding that, so obviously we're going to get ready now for the Forsaken, which is on Tuesday at 6 p.m. for the UK. I will still be on holiday then. I'll still be away. But I'm back Wednesday, so I'll be able to start it then.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll stream a bit. No,
because I won't even notice it. I will be drinking somewhere in a hotel, hopefully with my feet up, forgetting about gaming for a couple of days.
No, you won't. You'll be sat there and you'll be thinking, oh, God, I could be playing Destiny 2
Well, what
now.
I've been doing all week. So what I've been doing, I've been really hoarding material, which will help me come the 4th of September. So one's to definitely do a mod components. So break them down and store those up. Also planet materials and also gunsmith materials as well. Now some of these I've actually got in some of the boxes I've got 999 materials stashed already, which is the maximum. Then you start another box. And because the currency is going to change from 40 to encrypt to 100, if you've noticed that the chests you're seeing around the planets are now giving you ×4 instead of ×1, so that will probably balance out, picking up 100.
Yeah.
But I've just been going around doing escalation protocol on Mars, just doing bits and bobs, just to keep going, really.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some quests I've got in the part that I've picked up recently because I obviously did them on the PlayStation, and they might be pretty much useless, so I'm not going to bother with them at the minute. The War Mine DLC I've done, obviously, also all the exotics and the legendaries for the Osiris I've finished as well. So I've done badly considering. So yeah, just looking forward to next week, really, and getting to grips with it. Obviously, by the time you've heard this, it'll probably be too late, but Gambit has been out for 24 hours. That's a mode that you can try.
Yep.
It's 4-player, so there was no one around last night, so I'm not too fussed about that for the moment. But it does sound like a great mode to play, though. But
yeah, because that's player versus environment.
It is, yeah,
isn't it?
and you got a map with two sets of 4 against each other, and you can sneak up on them and you can invade their area to kill them and vice versa. So we'll talk more about that probably next week when it'll be the Destiny show.
When it'll be the Spider-Man show.
Oh, yeah, well, we've got a bit of chat about that later probably in the questions, so we'll save that till then. Okay, that's me done, really. I could rabbit on a bit more, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
So, should we go to movies, TVs, and streaming?
Indeed.
In quest of a better life,
Okay, no real news at the moment. I am going to just pluck up one bit of Star Trek news because we heard that the Star Trek 4 was going to go into production. We've had a couple of the stars are stalling on what pay they're getting, but it's just been revealed that Carl Urban was at some sort of like Comic-Con style event in the States, and he seemed to think that not to be worried about, really, it shouldn't be a problem, but
No, it's just a negotiating tactic.
It is, yeah. And considering it's two of the big stars from the film, I suppose they've got every right to do that. I don't know. And one little bit of Star Wars news is that Matt Smith joined the cast for the next Star Wars movie.
Yes.
So the Doctor Who will be in Star Wars.
And evidently I was reading as well that after keeping quiet for quite some time, evidently Rian Johnson has hit back at one of the YouTubers who've been talking about Star Wars, who anybody who's been following would no doubt have come across, Mike Zero. Evidently, Mike Zero had reported, because he's always on the rumour mill on Star Wars.
Yeah.
He was reported about stuff that people were saying might be going to happen on the film. I mean, to be honest, I don't think anything that he predicted was particularly true. But from what I can gather, evidently he'd said that Rian Johnson's trilogy is cancelled, but he may do one movie, and evidently Rian Johnson's struck out on this, but then he's removed his tweet afterwards. Yeah,
it's all conjecture with a lot of things, really. Social media goes nuts on most stuff, so you take it with a pinch of salt, to be honest, I think. So yeah. Okay, should we look at some cinema releases? Interesting ones there. So we've got The Nun, we have American Animals, Misconduction of Cameron Post, Puzzle, Final Score, Hurricane and the Seagull. So
I don't know what any of those are, to be honest.
Well, The Nun is the nun from the from the horror movie Insomniac. Well, I can't even say it now. Oh man, I can't remember what it is, but I can't think now. Mine's gone blank. But other than that, The Nun's a horror movie, which is a character from another set, which I'm not going to go and Google it now because I haven't got time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the others there's not a lot that we know about at the moment?
No, I don't think there's any real big blockbusters that are out at the moment, is there?
Not till October, mid-October probably. There's one coming out maybe, but that I'm looking forward to. But other than that, yeah. Do you want to do the releases? Because there's a few all sorts in there.
Oh yeah, it's a good sort of week for Blu-ray releases, to be honest. There is Aaero season 6 on Blu-ray and DVD, or the full season 1 to 6. There is Avengers or Avengers Assemble.
How many versions of that have they got?
Well, there's Avengers Age of Ultron and Avengers Infinity War, which are technically the 3 Avenger movies, because everybody always thinks that there's 4 because of Captain America Civil War, but that was a Captain America movie. Although technically speaking, it did have most of the Avengers in it. So, and a few ones who aren't in the Avengers as well. But yeah, so that's coming out on basically just about everything. So, you can get Infinity War on 4K and normal Blu-ray DVD. Yeah. Ultron's on 4K and Avengers Assembles on 4K as well. So I dare say I'll probably be picking those up. Back to the Future in the 80s collection DVD version, and the same with E.T. the Extraterrestrial. Footloose as well, and Ghost. So some, good old classic ones there. Predator Blu-ray Unlimited Edition is out as well, and Scarface in the 80s DVD collection. There's also The Thing and the film Top Secret, which if you've ever seen that one, that's quite a classic.
So all those 80s ones, they're a HMV special?
Yes.
So what you get is you get the slot that holds the Blu-ray together, or say the Blu-ray DVD together.
Yeah.
Makes it like the 80s VHS box.
Yes.
If you remember those back in the day. I think Beverly Hills Cop is another one that was coming out as well. And they look, the Paramount logo and how they did that on the box art is great. It's classic. I remember buying all of those at the time.
Yeah, so do I. How old and sad are we? I also got to mention there's also the Young Sheldon season 1 coming out on Blu-ray and DVD as well.
And that was fantastic. That was really good.
I've still not seen that.
Anything else perks your interest out of that a lot?
Well, I think that was a good selection. Anything that you can see there?
I'm just having a quick fly through.
There's other ones, because there's the Blues Brothers in the 80s collection.
Yeah, the Scarface as well.
Well, I mentioned that one, but Streets of Fire, The Warriors.
I owned every one of those.
Yeah. Midnight Run.
Yeah, that was a good one. What else we got there? Mary Shelley, that was quite good. Oh, God, there's loads, yeah.
Yeah, so this coming week, if you're into buying your DVDs and Blu-rays, prepare to part with a lot of cash.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so...
Oh, and Repo Man as well.
Oh, yeah, that's a cool movie as well, isn't it?
It is.
So, cinema charts. So this week, number 5, we've got Equalizer 2, down from 2. Incredibles 2 at 4 down is... Oh, is that... No, it's not.
Well, that's weeks and release.
This week, do apologize. So, number 4, we've got Incredibles 2. 3, we've got The Meg, which is the shark movie. Number 2, we have Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. And Christopher Robin is number 1 from Walt Disney.
Yeah, and Blu-ray charts, we have at number 5, staying in position, Black Panther. Number 4, down from 3, The Greatest Showman. Number 3, down from 2, is The Quiet Place. Number 2, down from 1, is Ready Player One. And at number 1... is The Rock with Rampage.
Yeah, and the Nun movie, which is coming out this year, I just want to say, because people probably moan, actually it was the Conjuring movies.
Right.
So that's the demon nun from that. So that's one for me. That's one I would definitely be seeing at some point.
It's not the blue nun from the wine.
No, that was very 70s. People are scratching their heads now.
Just watch Alan Partridge.
Oh, God, yeah. It makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
So you've seen Jumanji. Which one's this, the old one or the new one?
This is the new one. Now, this came out on Sky last weekend. Now, I kept away thinking it's a remake. I'm not interested. And it isn't a remake. It's just another... I suppose it's just another Jumanji story.
It's a sequel.
If it's a sequel, it could be before, it could be after. I don't really know.
No, I think it's got to be after because it's about video games.
Yeah, but wow, I enjoy that movie. Really,
yeah, it's good, isn't it?
I didn't know the story, so I didn't. At first watching it, I'm seeing the kids doing their problems with the school in detention, and then they get sucked into the computer game, which puts them as adults, and obviously as the characters they are. It was 100% comedy. Really good. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great movie to watch. It's one I would probably like to own at some point.
Yes. Well, I've got it on 4K Blu-ray.
Yeah, but that looks awesome.
It does.
So really enjoyed that. Jack Black, Karen Gillan, The Rock. Fantastic movie. Really enjoyed it. The other movie I saw, Haydn can fall asleep for 5 minutes because she doesn't do horror, is I finally got to watch Jigsaw, which is the latest in the Jigsaw movies. And I've been a bit hesitant about watching this movie because I thought it wasn't going to be very good. But no, actually, I quite enjoyed it, and it was great to go back to the games and the trials you get put through from these people that have done wrong in their lifetime. And yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. Really, it was really nice to go back to see that, and probably tempts me to probably go back and sit through all of them again. It's a franchise I do love very much, and I do have them all on Blu-ray. Yeah, and just fantastic. Whatever you want to call it, torture porn or whatever, but I just love those movies. Really good. Now, before you start chatting away, I have not finished Infinity War, so don't spoil it for me.
Well, I'm not going to spoil it anyway.
Just going to say that.
But thanks for stealing my thunder. Again. You're really good at this, are you? Oh. Don't do spoilers on my announcements.
Anyway, go on.
Okay, so I watched Infinity War, and you'd be saying, how? Because it was on the Xbox store. It has been for about over a week, to be honest.
Did you buy this? I've got to ask you, did you buy this just to move up them points on your reward points?
No, I got it because I wanted it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And also I wanted to try out the UHD streaming on there as well. And it's good quality, to be quite honest with you.
So it doesn't download the movie to your box then?
Well, I don't know, because I just started watching it straight away, so, it would have probably been streaming it and recording it at the same time. Yeah. Or buffering it in some sort of way, but it was absolutely fine. In terms of the movie, it's a great movie. Why you're taking so long to watch this film, I don't know. I can't understand it. Have you actually seen any of it?
Yeah, I'm halfway through it.
How can you stop on that movie?
What it is I've been using it as my lunchbox time at work. So I was watching half an hour, 40 minutes, squeezing when I can. If I was going to watch it at home, because I've got a digital version, I needed to get it on the box and watch it. But at this rate, I might be on Sky soon, so I'll actually probably watch it. I'll probably watch it from the beginning.
At the rate you're watching it, it'll be on the BBC before
the Christmas edition.
On a rerun.
But actually, it's been advertised on the Sky Store, so it's not too far off being on there anyway. So I might.
Well, it should be on there now.
No, it's on the Sky. It's on the Sky Store, but when it goes from the Sky Store, then it goes to Sky Movies.
All right, yeah, that's about 3 to 6 months later, isn't it?
No, it's not as long as that. Believe it or not. I mean, Jumanji came on last week. We had Star Wars: The Last Jedi the week before, I think. Yeah. So over the summertime, they've been putting some big films on there. So I'm assuming it might be too far away, because I think the missus will probably watch it anyway. And if my daughter's still around, because she's moving out soon, then she'll probably watch it as well, because she's not seen it. But yeah, I say what I've seen of it, it's a great movie. It's interesting to see how the UHD looks. I mean, I obviously got UHD downloads on the Skybox. Yes. And they're pretty cool. They look really good. To be honest, is there much difference between that and 4K? I don't think your eyes can really tell too much difference. Do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to see the same film with both.
You have got both versions, so you could have them both running at the same time and just switch inputs and see what it looks like.
Well, I haven't at the moment.
Oh, I thought you had. I thought you got the 4K version.
No, it's not released until tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I'm surprised it's in. You got it from Amazon. You might have had it this weekend. But,
no. Hopefully, I'll just be able to walk straight into Tesco and pick it up.
Yeah, because when I was in CX, I was looking at what Blu-rays they had there, just out of curiosity. Yeah, and they did have the Black Panther in 4K. Was one there, which I was nearly picked it up, but I'm not too sure about that one. It's
you should have done. It's a good film.
Yeah, I think they were charging £18 for it.
Oh, yeah, that's a bit.
It's a bit much to buy.
Yeah, because the digital version won't be on there either.
No, not that you sometimes need a digital version, But no, I did have a little bit of a browse to see if there are any sort of movies there I wanted, but I was really looking for 4K, and there wasn't much there, to be honest.
Yeah.
But hey ho, there you go.
Mm.
Okay, listeners' questions.
Yep.
John, what's happening to us?
Right. We'll start with Mark. He's got a couple as usual. And his first one is, what is the most neglected game or console that you own?
You going first?
Okay.
Well, you already own 2 consoles, so I know which one that is. That's PlayStation.
If it's neglected, if it's going to be neglected between the two at the moment, it would be, yeah. I have had it on over the last couple of days, just checking a few bits and pieces.
Obviously, making sure it still worked.
To make sure it still worked. No, but also, obviously, what I did do was I deleted my game for Destiny 2 and then
downloaded it
for the PlayStation.
How pathetic was that? Seriously. You've already got the game installed because you have the disc version, and then because you want...
Haven't you done that?
And then you want the digital version.
Hold on. Haven't you done that, though?
Yes.
Well, then why are you moaning at me about it?
No, I'm not. What I'm saying is, right, Xbox side, if we have a disc that we install the game on, and then it comes on gold or whatever, all that you need to do is just activate it on the store. Oh, sorry,
I thought you were having a moan at me. You took on it. Yeah, you'd pop a key, because actually, with Game Pass, that does do that. That you can, I've got a Fallout 4 in, for example.
Yeah, you don't need to put it in, it'll just play it. You don't need to put
it in. No, exactly.
No.
Even though I'm just going to say this now because I didn't mention it earlier, I have come away from the Game Pass for a little bit.
Right, why?
Because I wasn't really using it, firstly, and also my Xbox has been playing up. So when I spoke to Microsoft the other day, they refunded me my last month. Mm-hmm. So they refunded me $7.99. And at some point, I'm going to pop £2 because they're doing 2 months for £2 at the moment.
Right.
So that seems the logical thing to do.
Yeah.
Neglected game. I've probably got a couple there I'm going to mention. Probably God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn.
And also Detroit Most Human.
Yeah, and that as well, yeah.
And Elite Dangerous.
Oh.
I could go on with your list of games that you don't play because you only play Destiny.
I'm a one-woman man and she's called Destiny. Anyway, what's yours? Have you got anything? Can you think of anything you neglect? Do you neglect the Switch? But it's not yours, though, is it? It's just, isn't it?
No, it's my son's Switch.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I've been sort of like toying with the idea of, should I get a Switch?
Why?
And then I thought...
But why? But you could always borrow your son's, and when he goes to bed, you can just crack it out and play with it, can't you?
Well, I mean, to be honest, that's sort of like what I was thinking, but I thought, no, it is his, so kind of like respect his property.
Yeah.
And then I was just talking to him and I said, I'm considering buying a Switch. He said, don't bother, Dad, just use mine, I don't use it. Okay, if you insist.
Yeah.
So, because he's always nicking my PC, so I suppose that he thinks it's a good deal, but he's not swapping. So, yeah, possibly the Switch, but, okay. I mean, obviously, I would say my PC is my most neglected gaming apparatus because most of the time I go on consoles rather than on the PC, even though I probably have the game already on the PC because of things like Humble Bundle and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
Most neglected game. There are so many. I have a pile of shame.
But yeah, with you moaning at me, but you've got a pile of shame on Steam, which is just not even worth talking about.
I have a pile of Steam on shame, which is more than my Xbox and PlayStation games added together.
I know.
But that's just because of Humble Bundle. To be honest, it's not because I've gone and bought all of those games intentionally. It's just because they come in a bunch with, you buy one game and then there's like 6 games that you're not bothered about, but they all come in a bundle.
Yeah, true.
So, so there's loads of them like that. But, you could say Skyrim,
No Man's
Fallout. No, I've played that recently. But, there are a lot of games that, too many to mention, to be honest. Even though I do complete more games nowadays.
That's true, yeah, okay.
Because I normally complete 1 or 2 a week.
So. And you say you haven't got much time, but there you go, I'm not going to...
Well, I haven't got much time because I completing the games.
Okay, just give us a second question.
All right, what's the biggest movie that you've never seen?
Never seen.
Well,
you first.
I was going to say yours must be Marvel Infinity War, surely.
I don't think it's the biggest movie, though. It's
one of the biggest grossing movies of all time, so I would have said it probably is. I would classify as that, to be honest. Or Black Panther.
No, we're talking about this year, but I'm probably, is it more, bit more, from time, what there is, do you know what I mean? Not just this year or this last 6 months. Is there something that you've never seen that's a huge movie that, if you went to the top 10 movies of all time, is there one there you've not seen, for example?
Yes. 2, actually. So what about you?
I can't think. I'm going to have to bring a list up and see what I haven't seen. Okay. So
there's nothing like Dead Air.
There is, isn't there? So I haven't seen Dunkirk yet.
No, but that's a relatively recent movie.
Yeah, I'm just going to go through the list. This is not all time, though, is it really? Because I'm sure...
Well, isn't there any that pops to mind that you think, I've never seen that?
Actually, there is. I'm looking at a top 10 list of movies of all time. There's one there I've been meaning to watch and I never do. Now, number one, actually, top best movies of all time on this one website puts Forrest Gump as number one.
Yeah.
And we've got The Godfather, we've got The Dark Knight, and there's one here which is number 4, which is based on a Stephen King novel, which I've not really seen, and I've been meaning every time I should sit and watch it, and I haven't done, and that's A Shawshank Redemption.
You haven't seen it?
No.
I thought you had.
No. Everything else in this list, I'm looking at the top 10 at the moment, everything I've seen. But that is one film, which is one I think you should watch before you die sort of list, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, the film that I haven't seen is also The Shawshank Redemption.
Really?
Really. And do you know what? I have no intention of watching it either. Because it just does not in any way, shape or form appeal to me. I've forgotten what his name is, him who's married to Susan Sarandon.
Well,
not Morgan Freeman.
Is it Tim Robbins, the other character?
Tim Robbins, yeah. I can't stand the guy, so I just don't want to watch it. I really can't stand him, so I just, even though I like Morgan Freeman, I just have no interest in watching that. The story, from what I know of the story, it doesn't appeal at all. And the other film that I haven't seen,
I'm going to look for another list because I can see what I can find.
That's also in the top list is The Green Mile.
Now, I have seen that. And actually, I saw it 9 years ago to the day. Now, it's my wedding anniversary.
Yes.
And it's 9 years, by the way.
So you went to the cinema after you got married?
No.
Before?
Right, what it is we hired a villa in Orlando.
Okay.
So it was me, Tracy, and the 7 kids. All went to Disneyland, Universal. We did all that while we were there. And obviously we didn't tell them we were getting married. We broke that to them on one of the days close to the day and so on and so forth, and that happened. But the night before, they got a big DVD collection sitting in the in the lounge. And that's what we sat and watched. And it is a fantastic movie. Really, it is. It's one you should actually watch. Very emotional movie as well.
But again, I go back to, I just don't fancy it.
Do you know the guy that's going to get fried, shall we say?
Yeah.
Do you know who it is?
Yeah, there's a guy who played the Kingpin.
Also, he was in Armageddon.
Yeah, he's dead now, isn't he? I believe he's one of the actors who died.
He died, yeah. He died 2012.
Yeah.
He was only 54. Michael Clark Duncan, his name is.
Yes.
And he's got that very deep voice.
Yeah.
But it is, honestly, that is a movie to see. If, you got, when you say what shall I watch, I think there'll be a lot of people on this show that listen to this that will totally agree with me. Looking through that, I've got the Internet Movie Database list up. So the top rated movies is actually, number 1 is A Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Followed by the Godfather movies, Part 1 and Part 2. You got Dark Knight, Angry Men, Schindler's List, Lord of the Rings, Pulp Fiction, another great movie. Good, Bad and the Ugly, great Clint Eastwood, Fight Club, Lord of the Rings, Forrest Gump, Star Wars Episode 5, Inception, and the list goes on. Another film I've not seen, which I've been meaning to put on my list, is Leon.
With Natalie Portman.
Yeah, I say it's a Luke Besant movie, so I should really watch that because I do appreciate his work.
Yeah.
There's a few classic ones in here as well. We got not the Untouchable, because that's of course something else. Psycho is in there. We've got Terminator 2, Back to the Future, Razor Lost Ark, Gladiator, The Lion King, The Prestige. Have you seen that?
Yes, I have it.
You do? It's a wicked movie, The Prestige.
Yes.
The Shining, you've got Wall-E, Danger Unchained, American Beauty, which is a class movie, and so on and so forth. But yeah, loads there. Okay, and because I've been clicking away... You've
lost where you are, haven't you?
I have, haven't I? And I'm just bringing it back online.
Shall I read it out then?
So, Shawshank Redemption, I think you do need to watch, give that a go, and I will. And also, The Green Mile. I think your missus would like that film as well.
If it's sad, she won't like it.
Oh, it's such a fantastic film.
She doesn't do sad movies. My wife does... like The Greatest Showman, Mamma Mia, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Hence why we never go to the cinema together.
Right. I tell you what, I'll let you do the third question because you've actually played this game, so I want to hear your views about it.
Okay, so Nikki Wilson, Facebook questions now, Nikki Wilson asks, what do you think about Spider-Man Puddlegate? As he's put it.
Now, is this, again, as we've seen in the news recently, that we had two screenshots, one from E3 and one later on, and there's a graphical difference when you look at the two screenshots, and one with the paddles taken away do dampen it down a bit, if that's the right word to use. But what do you think on that? Because you played the game. Have you seen that part of the game at all? Or
no, because it's all in Manhattan, so it's going to be difficult for me to find that particular bit. I mean, in terms of when I played it, it looked fantastic. So the fact that people are making a big deal out of some missing water on the ground can only mean that those people are absolutely puddled, to be quite honest with you. It's just, it doesn't spoil the game in any way, shape or form. I mean, obviously what was shown at E3 is going to be, like a bit more aspirational, earlier footage where, maybe they haven't locked down the frame rate to a consistent level or whatever. And, they're just trying to push the system as far as it can go and to wheel it back to a point where it's stable most of the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we've seen. I mean, to be honest, it's not the reflections. I think that there's more of a significant difference in terms of these with the actual colouring. But that could be just down to the tuning of the TV as well.
True.
The colour settings on there. Mind you, I suppose it's going to be snapshot directly from the game, so they have actually changed the palette of the game. And there is some detail that is different in between some of the pictures as well. When you actually look at there, some details taken out, some's put in. So there's a bit of a balance there, but I wouldn't let it worry people about the fact that it looks slightly different to, how it's intending on being in, when we actually see it.
But we do have this, we've had this problem before where games we've been shown a game and it doesn't come up to expectation to what the trailer was.
Yeah.
Same for movies as well. We've had a few movies come out where there's bits of the trailer that isn't actually in the film for whatever reason, It's just...
Well, look at Rogue One. That's a perfect example. That TIE fighter never rose up when she was, going to that switch on that, platform.
Yeah.
And also they never ran over the beach, with the Death Star blueprints, and they never did all of that chasing that was in the main base either. That was actually in one of the London Underground.
And actually, I've got one for you, and I've actually listened to, I don't know, is it now 7 hours of it? Empire Podcast had 3 specials for Mission Impossible Fallout.
Yeah.
And they did
3? How long was the show?
Well, the show, there's part 1, part 2, part 3.
Right. But how long's the show?
Well, one of them's over 3.5 hours long.
So they've done 3 podcasts, which go over 3.5 hours about a film that's not even 2.
It's nearly 6 hours. Now, what it was, right? Now, this is on. Don't laugh, honestly, because if you ever get to see the film, it's worth a listen because they chatted to the director.
Okay.
And he chatted about everything and anybody and everything, and it was so informative. It was like listening to a DVD voiceover of watching the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, honestly, I was riveted just listening to him chat about how they were doing the stunts, how they performed this, how they performed that, what they left in, what they left out, for example. And have you seen the trailer at all for Mission Impossible?
Yes.
And you see Tom in the helicopter, and you see him come up against a truck.
Yes.
That isn't in the movie. And the director explained that when they were filming the sequence and when they played back the sequence, there's a point where the helicopter was going to go down into the clouds and come underneath where you'd see a road and the truck. But because of the way it was filmed and the way on the timing of how they wanted this to keep going, that scene never actually happened in the film. They didn't drop into the clouds; they stayed above it. Hence, it wasn't used. But it was a fantastic listen, honestly, for that guy. And he apparently he's like that as well before. But it just honestly, it's just, if you ever get to see the film and then listen to that, it's riveting stuff, and it's really interesting to hear on his thoughts and how they actually put that whole film together.
Yeah.
So anyway, next question. Now this is more of a dig at me probably on a Facebook, but Mark Prudhomme has said, earlier in the week I saw one of the co-hosts post a link to another game that isn't Destiny.
I think that might have been me.
I think that is you, because I did a post about Destiny saying that this is in a game to play, because I posted the roadmap, which looks pretty cool actually. We've got a whole year of content looking forward to for that.
Yeah.
So would you like to enlighten me on your part of this question?
Well, I think it's just what there are actually other games, because Mark is also obsessed at the moment with Destiny. He's playing it on 2 different systems, don't forget.
Yeah.
So, yes, Mark, if you're out there listening, there are other games.
Yeah, there's Destiny 1.
I give up.
Anyhow, do you want to... well, you can do the last question.
All right. Craig Cole, a new arcade is opening in town today, a retro one, off for a few hours. So with that in mind, what's your top 3 arcade cabinets?
Okay. Have you got 3?
Yes.
Okay, so in reverse order,
okay,
I'm going to have Asteroids.
Classic old school.
I think I'm going to put Missile Command in at number 2, because I did love the idea of the rolling ball.
Okay.
And number 1, it's got to be Space Invaders.
So all real retro classics.
Oh, God, yeah. How about yourself?
I'm going to go a bit newer. Not a lot.
Okay.
Not a lot.
But that's not retro then, is it?
It is retro.
Okay. If it's last year...
It is retro. No.
If it's last year, it could be retro, couldn't it?
When it's last month, it's retro. No, in terms of mine, I would say in 3rd place would be Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
2nd place, I've got actually a joint shared number 1.
Well, I tell you what, have a shout out afterwards. We'll have a shout out because I've got a couple I can mention. But
okay, but I've got a joint shared number 1, so there's not 1 and 2 could, depending upon my mood, could swap. But Ridge Racer, the original one, and the other one is R-Type.
Okay, yeah, I say they are not as old as mine, but me being a bit older than you, I think that's that's really going to be allowed, isn't it?
Yeah, but I also used to play Space Invaders. I also used to play Asteroids as well. Missile Commander, never really enjoyed it very much, so I didn't play that much. Yeah.
I mean, there are. I mean, if you go to these bowling alleys now, they have a few cabinets come sort of driving simulators, don't they? So it's like Sega Rally and
yes.
I think I've seen a Terminator one recently, which looks pretty cool actually, which is good. And I tell you, there's one I'd love to play. Now, I don't know when it's going to come to the UK. It's coming. And that's the new Halo arcade. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it, no.
So what I would say, Bungie, I think it could be 343 actually.
It will be 343, yeah.
What they've done is they built a sort of cabinet to play Halo. And it's being showcased around the States at the moment. And it looks pretty cool. Very well put together as well. You'll have to, if you Google that, you'll find it somewhere on the interwebs.
Well, I'll have a look at that. Because also, don't forget, there's a new Halo Master Chief Collection 4K patch as well.
Should we just chat about that?
Yeah.
Because I've actually downloaded the update.
So have I, all 69 gig of it.
73, I think it was. Yeah. And I put it on. Now, I can't remember from when we last played it. But I'm going to just say this so. I did put Halo 1, Halo 2, and Halo 3. And God, do they all look gorgeous now.
Yeah.
And what I found interesting, I didn't do it before, so I'm not whether it was in the update or not. But playing Halo 2 from the beginning, and you got the cutscenes. Now, obviously Halo 2 they did some special work for Halo 2 for the anniversary. So when this box set came out originally, Halo 2 did get preferential treatment. So when you watch at the beginning when we introduce to everybody, and there's quite a lot of cutscenes in there.
Yeah.
You can actually switch to the original cutscene from the game. And I tell you what, those cutscenes, the new cutscenes sort of blow your mind.
In comparison, yeah.
But forgetting the comparisons for a minute, how good they look. They look freaking awesome. And to be honest, I need to go back and play some of that. And I did have the itch when I put it on the other night, just to have a look at it. And, oh, God, they all look good. I need to have a look at the others as well to see what they've done there. But obviously, you've got the land there. If you've got a few people that want to come around with consoles and TVs,
yes, you
can go real old school with that. And the multiplayer's in there. They brought some maps back as well. It's fantastic. They've done such a lot of work. And kudos to those guys out there that have put this together.
Well, I mean, it's amazing what they actually can do with an old game, and just to make it more modern. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Resident Evil 2 is going to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. And that'd be a day one purchase next year for me, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But I say, obviously, those that have got Game Pass, the Halo collection will be out on 1st September. So that's
already yesterday.
Yesterday, so that is already out there. Guys, check it out.
Definitely worth it.
If you've got space on your hard drives,
yeah, clear out a few games. But yeah, it is a good collection. And also, does it include the ODST, or is that an additional purchase download?
That is in there as well. I can't remember how that came about, whether that was afterwards.
It did come about afterwards, yeah. It was a DLC.
But honestly, it is a fantastic collection. And anyone that moans about Halo won't shooting, to be honest, because it still holds up now. That music, when we put it on again, and that music there, just put the hairs in the back of my neck come up, you know?
Yeah. It is a good franchise, but I only like it for the story. I don't like the competitive sort of side of it.
Oh, I did enjoy. Back in the day, there was a few friends that are still on my list now that we used to play, have a night of playing Halo online, and I used to love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, check it out, guys. Well worth it. Okay, so, all good. That means I can get a little bit of time with Mrs. at this time. It's 8:30. So, quick outro for me. So, contact details are as usual. Twitter @Steve07. PSN ID is the real Steve007. Xbox Steve007, and email me at steve007@popculturegamers.co.uk. And Haydn.
There's my YouTube channel. Just search for Haydn Reese Jones on YouTube. There's also Twitter, HERJUK, PSN, Xbox Live, and Steam's also HERJUK. You can also email the podcast at podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. Our website, which is popculturegamers.podbean.com. And you can follow us on Twitter @popculturegamer. And we also have our Facebook group as well.
Plenty to look for there.
Indeed.
Okay, so all you have to do now is to say it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him too.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
You are about to witness history in the making.